Hey everybody, it's Ryan and Kathy back here in the kitchen. We got a really good recipe for you today. We're gonna do a pork tenderloin that we're gonna sear in the pan and then finish in the oven. We're gonna make a Dijon cream sauce to go with it that has some shallots and some garlic. I'm gonna give you all the ingredients real quick and then we'll go over everything. So we're using a pork tenderloin, so we might not use all this. It's just me and Kathy eating it tonight, so I might cut off a little bit just to save for some pork fried rice or something. But we're gonna season it and sear it, which I'll show you in a second. Here's the rest of the ingredients. We got some kosher salt, black pepper, a little bit of shallot. We won't use all that, that's a lot. Some garlic, maybe a clove or two, some heavy cream, some rosemary. We're using some of the fresh that we have, whatever Dijon mustard you like, some red wine, and then to go with it, we're gonna have some steamed broccoli and some rice. So I'll show you how to prepare this, season this, and cook it, and we'll get started. Okay, so we rinsed the tenderloin off, and when I opened up the package, I realized that it was already cut in half. So I wasn't expecting that, but that's okay, we'll improvise. So all we're gonna do is season it now and sear it. I had some kosher salt here. I made this seasoning just for this. It has some Italian seasoning, some black pepper, some sea salt, a little bit of garlic powder. So just kind of a little bit of everything in there. So we want to season it pretty aggressively. And then we're just going to pat in the seasoning into the meat before we sear it. All right, so we're going to sear the tenderloin real quick. We're just going to use, this is just some olive oil. All we want to do is just build a nice little crust on it real quick. I got it on medium high. We're just going to sear it real quick. We could do 2 or 3 sides. 2 sides is fine. Just want to develop a little bit of color, a little bit of crust on them before we transfer them and finish them in the oven. All right, we're going to just flip these over. It's been about 4.5, 5 minutes. I really let it go, you know, you want to let it go for a good little bit just so you can develop that crust. Just get a beautiful little texture and crust on there. So we're going to get that other side, maybe one other side. You don't have to do all 4 sides. We'll do maybe 2 or 3, and we're going to let this go a little bit longer. Okay, look at that beautiful color we got on there. We got it browned on 3 sides, and we want to transfer it now onto any kind of roasting pan you have, whatever you got. All right, so, and then we're gonna finish in the oven. We already have the oven preheated to 375. We're gonna put it in there for about maybe 8 to 10 minutes. All right, so now we're gonna build our pan sauce. So all these little crusty bits in here, this is all flavor. So we don't wanna waste any of that. We don't wanna clean the pan. We wanna start building our pan sauce. We have the tenderloin in the oven finishing up, and we've got our shallot minced up, our garlic. So here we go. We're gonna add a little bit of butter to this just so we're going to be able to fry our garlic and our shallot. So we'll do like a pat or so, tablespoon or so. Just get a little bit of this stuff loosened up. We're going to add our shallot in there now. So I wish you guys could smell what it smells like in here because it smells ridiculous right now. Get our garlic in here. There we go. And we're just taking off all those little bits from the bottom from when we seared the tenderloin. All right, so we don't want to go any further than that because we don't want the butter or the garlic to burn. So we're going to add a little bit of the heavy cream. Oops. And we're going to let that go a little bit. Don't want to put the Dijon mustard in just quite yet because it'll separate. So we want to put that in towards the end. So it smells amazing. We're going to go ahead and add in some of the rosemary. Maybe we'll chop it up just a tad bit. Leave this on low just for another minute or so until the tenderloin just gets done cooking. All right, so Dijon goes in right at the end. It already has a beautiful color, but this is gonna make it even more rich and just a nice luxurious velvety texture and some tanginess from the Dijon mustard. One thing I always learned over the years is that Dijon mustard goes great in sauces accompanied by pork. About 8 minutes. All right, so it looks good. We're gonna let it rest. I'll stick a thermometer in there. One of the things you can do is I wanna put a little bit of the juice in there into that sauce just to add some flavor. There we go. The sauce only needs a little bit of butter at the end just to kind of like bring it together. We're gonna put this on the cutting board and just let this rest for about 5 minutes, and then we'll cut up and start plating. And we'll mix this in. All right, and we'll plate up just a couple minutes. Turned our burner on just the lowest setting just to kind of bring the sauce together. We're gonna add a little bit more of the rosemary at the very end. We're also gonna add, when you're doing a pan sauce, you usually wanna finish it with just a pat of butter just to kind of like bring everything together. So we're gonna let that melt in there. I'm gonna chop up a little bit of rosemary. We're gonna leave some for garnish at the end. All right, so everything's pretty much done. Our rice is done, our broccoli is done. We're just gonna incorporate that butter. This sauce is exactly what I was looking for. It's nice and velvety. We want to test it for flavor. If we need a little bit of salt, pepper. It's so good. It doesn't need any salt. Maybe a little bit, a couple turns of black pepper would be good. It tastes amazing. It tastes so decadently good. It's got a nice creaminess, a nice tanginess. This is gonna go excellent over the tenderloin. So here we go, let's slice into this. See what we got going on here. We'll go right from the middle. All right, so it's still pretty juicy. Got some juices running out of there. Get right in there, honey. And it's nice and tender, nice and juicy. There's no pink in the middle. Look how pretty that looks. Clean it up, make it look nice. And let me get a fork and knife here. All right, so let's dive in. Obviously want to go for the pork. I think everybody's had steamed broccoli and rice before. So we're just gonna sample the pork. It's phenomenal. It's so rich, luscious, has a little bit of taste from the rosemary. The Dijon mustard adds a nice tanginess to everything. Here comes Kay. You guys gotta try this. It's superb. It's so good. Let me give a little bit of tenderloin to King. All right, you've been a little gentleman. You've been waiting patiently. Sit. Good boy. Okay, guys. So you saw how we did this. I left the burner on. You saw how we did this? We love when you guys try our recipes. Try this out, leave a comment, and let us know how it turned out when you tried it. That's one of the best things about doing this channel. That's my favorite thing, is that people try our recipes and let us know how you like it. And I also like to say real quick, we're coming up on 500 subs within the next probably day or two. And we're very appreciative. We thank you very much. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you being here, and we're gonna see you on the next episode, so have a great night.